Hello everybody, welcome back to another Conversations with Projektor. Today we start with Am I dedicating my life to Psytrance? Before I go, you can contribute topics for this series on my Discord server.
Do you feel like Psytrance is something you might want to dedicate your life to, or it might change? Now, at this point, I am pretty happy with where I am in terms of the music that I'm making and all of that stuff. It's not that I feel like I'm not able to get where I want to be with the music that I'm writing. Of course, things change in the future, and you would never say, like, yes, I'm going to dedicate my life to this for the rest of my life, without knowing what the future holds. But the way that I'm looking at it now, it's still providing me both all of the things that I like in terms of just being able to do what I want to do throughout the day, as well as providing me enough of an income that I can actually continue to do this as well. So yeah, for now, I would continue doing this, but I'm not the kind of person that would say like, yes, I've dedicated my life to this and I will never look back into anything else or anything like that.
How I would write Minecraft music.
If you'd be asked to write some tracks for Minecraft, what would they be like?
I mean, the vibe that they're currently having is kind of what I would go for. Maybe something a little bit more ambient, as in not relying so much on melodies, but more about like morphing paths or something like that. That could be cool. But to be honest, I think the music that they wrote is pretty much perfect for the game. In the sense that it's not really like offensive in any way. It doesn't get in the way of the gameplay, but it just is like a background thing, right? It's kind of like the kind of music that you would put up if you're already having a conversation with somebody and you just want to fill out the space a little bit more. It would be the kind of music that you might want to put up in a bar or something like that, so that people can talk with each other and there's not like anything that is getting in the way and getting loud while you're trying to have a conversation. Sometimes you get into a bar and they're playing like really heavy rock music and they're playing it really loud, and I find that super annoying. I get it if you're going to maybe a bar that is specifically for music, but if I'm just going to a normal bar, I want to usually chat with people. The music shouldn't get in the way of that. And I feel like the same is true with the gameplay. In essence, you want to play the game first, and you just want the music to never get in the way of that. If you had some really heavy music playing in Minecraft, it may be really hard to hear some of the sounds that you would need to hear over the music. And overall, it would just be distracting from the gameplay. If it's very energetic, it wouldn't feel right, because Minecraft is a little bit of a slow game. Like there isn't a lot of speed into it. You just sit there and build stuff. Completely blends into the backgrounds, doesn't stand out. Exactly. Yes. And that's the vibe that they went for. They just did it in more of a melodic way, and I might do it more in an atmospheric, like pad kind of way. But to be honest, I would probably have a really hard time coming up with a musical idea that would actually work for that kind of thing. I have done some ambient stuff, so it's not like it's completely out of my comfort zone. But it's definitely not something that I'm normally doing, that I'm like known for doing or anything like that. If they wanted to hire somebody, they wouldn't look at my portfolio of music and say like, hey, that's the guy that we need. You know what I mean?
The fun and unfun parts of my work.
So far, do you enjoy shooting/editing, or is it like a job/chore? It's going to depend from edit to edit. The shoots, I like to do that. I like to just knowing that I'm providing the information. Like everything at the end of the day, I know it's for a good cause and therefore I enjoy it. But it's not necessarily fun in and of itself. Like sitting around for 6-7 hours looking at yourself and deciding where everything should go and stuff like that. That's not fun in and of itself. It's only fun because I know that the end product is A, going to benefit me, and B, that I enjoy making the end product, right? I enjoy all of the benefits that I get essentially from uploading a YouTube video. The process itself isn't necessarily too fun, I would say, if you just look at the individual tasks that you have to do. But I guess the same is kind of true for making music. Like it's not like I like the production, okay? I like making stuff. I like making the music, and the same is true with the videos. I like recording it, and I like everything in that regard. But even say the mixing stage of a track, it's not necessarily that I really enjoy doing it. I just enjoy doing it because I know that it will improve the end product that I'm creating. And the same is true with editing. as I said, sitting around for 6-7 hours, which is realistically how long it takes to edit a video of mine. It's not really enjoyable to just sit around there, look at yourself, see all of the mistakes that you make, all of the takes where you maybe said a wrong sentence or that you didn't finish the sentence, or even the tone in which you said a certain sentence didn't really come out the way that you wanted to. And the moments where you really hate yourself is where you then didn't re-record a different sentence. Those moments aren't really fun necessarily, but they are part of a very fun process, which is the whole process of being a YouTuber, right? Or, yeah, making videos, I guess. I'm not entirely sure if I'm more YouTuber or an artist or whatever. I don't identify as either one, I would say. I'm just a guy trying to do what he likes to do. I also don't like the term YouTuber because it implies one of those, hey guys, welcome, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I'm absolutely not that kind of person, and I would wish I would never have to do that. I do put on a little bit of a personality when I'm filming, and you may notice that in the way that I'm speaking between normal stream content or not normal stream, or between my stream and my videos. You'll see that in my videos I'm a little bit more energetic, and that's just part of learning how to speak to a camera. Secondly, being able to do multiple takes of something. If I'm sitting here, it would be really weird if I said the same sentence 5 times over to pick the best one. I cannot do that. But the main thing that I'm doing when it's recording a video is that I'm just saying a sentence over and over again until I get it the exact way that I want it to be. I also don't like the term content maker. Content creator, I would say, is probably the best thing, because YouTuber, it has those negative connotations, and content creator, it's super broad, right? It can be anybody from a Twitch streamer to a TikToker to a YouTuber, anything in between. It's generally more accepted calling yourself content creator, even though content creator at some point is also going to have that same negative connotation as those annoying people that get many views become more and more prevalent in like the mainstream, which I guess over the last few years has already happened. The word content creator, you often see the most crazy ones of the content creators. Would it be more fun editing someone else's video, even for money? Maybe. I have done that. I have done editing work in the past, and it's good money, so that's why it's a good thing to do. It's still not fun, because it's still the process of going through 6 different takes of somebody saying something, and then picking out the best one of those.
How I wrote Stories of the Mind.
What is your inspiration for the Stories of the Mind album? Do you consider it a concept album? I don't think it's a concept album. I wrote Stories of the Mind in a time where I had a break from YouTube and I was doing a lot of self-reflection. And each individual song it's like a part of self-reflection on something that was happening at the time in my life. I have very personal stories with every track. And the goal of the album was to put those in the track without giving away what those were, and allowing the listener to interpret for themselves what each song meant. So I don't want to put on the meaning of the song and kind of force that meaning upon you. The listener gets to interpret what that meaning is for each one of the tracks. And I think that that's a more fun way of listening to music than for me to tell you exactly what I want you to take away from the album.
I like that approach. I think you did it really effectively. I feel like the tracks really kind of spark you to think about your own life. Very shamanic. Cool stuff.
Yeah, that was the goal. In the sense that it's written around my experiences, but anybody else could fill in their own experiences and it would still make sense for them. And I think the cool thing about it is the fact, maybe even now that I said this on stream, the fact that I said that for me, each and every track is very personal, or at least I have a very personal meaning behind each and every one of the tracks. You guys knowing that I have that without knowing what that meaning is may make the album a little bit more mysterious, and I kind of want to keep it that way. I don't want to at any point shatter that illusion, so I don't think at any point I'm going to reveal what the actual meaning behind the album was.
Revealing the meaning behind my album. No wait, just kidding. 32-bit plugin issues.
Hey Projektor, I have a problem with the D-Blue glitch plugin. Could you just pull up the link so I know that I actually got the right one? I'll figure it out from there.
What you're probably having a problem with is not so much the plugin itself, but the fact that it's 32-bit, and most DAWs don't use 32-bit plugins anymore. They don't read them anymore, so you cannot open them. The one that you want is this over here. This is the plugin, and if this download works, then get this one. There might be another one from Illformed here as well, but it does seem that they... oh no, here it is. Yeah, my older Windows-only plugins are still freely available through the following pack, which contains Glitch 1.3, Crusher, Stretch, and Tape Stop. This is what you want. You want to download these ones, and then what you need is some way to open up the 32-bit version into a 64-bit plugin. For that, I recommend JBridge. Unless you should probably check out if your DAW still opens 32-bit plugins. If not, you should bridge your plugins with this program over here. It takes a little bit of time to do that. It's a little bit wonky. You need to run an executable on a specific folder, and then it will go through that folder and bridge all of your plugins. Don't bridge any 64-bit plugins that are already 64-bit, because it does become a little bit more unstable when you do that. But for Glitch, it should work fine.
32-bit was the problem. I'll figure it out, I'm a coder.
I mean, yeah, but coding your own plugin bridge from 32-bit to 64-bit is quite a thing there. To be honest, I would just get JBridge. It's like $15 and it works. If you are a coder, then you would be able to use it. I believe you just open the executable. It allows you to pick the two folders, the one that you want to bridge and the one that you want to bridge to. And then even after that, you can still move the files from the folder that you bridge them in. You do need to make sure that your JBridge folder is like installed properly and all of that stuff. I'm not going to code that shit. No. That's that would take too much. Just get JBridge and get them to do it. It's the programming way, right? Somebody on Google already did it for me, so why would I bother doing it again?
Why is Psytrance so spiritual?
Why do most Psytrance tracks sample documentaries about life, evolution, humanity, and spirituality? It's because we're all a bunch of spiritual people, and that is reflected in both the culture and in the music that we write. We're all just a bunch of animals, right? I mean, not really, we're humans, but the way that we like to think is reflected in the way that you like to write music. And that's just the way that the music is written, and that's just from the way that the culture started. It started in India. So Psytrance started in India in the 70s on the beaches of Goa, when people went there and took with them electronic music, and they started to party there. The electronic music kind of met the spirituality that was there in India, that just comes from Hindu religion and stuff like that. All of those influences kind of combined, and then it's from there kind of exported throughout the rest of the world. And the people that are drawn to spiritual music tend to be spiritual people. So it's just a cycle that stacks on top of each other. In the 70s, it was more of a disco, wasn't it? It's Goa, so that's the actual name of the genre. It's different from disco, I guess, but it does have a lot of those influences, right? In that it's dance music, and the kick drum is playing every beat, and that allows you to dance to it. So those were the influences. To be honest, I find this a really hard question to answer, because I'm not super familiar with the history of Psytrance, as I only joined I wouldn't say the culture or something like that, because to be honest, I don't really consider myself a super spiritual person, but I only discovered Psytrance in like 2018, 2019, so I'm not really familiar with its deep history and anything that happened before then. They took LSD and mushrooms and smoked a lot of Mary Jane. Yes, obviously that also tends to happen a lot in the spiritual community as well. Taking psychedelics, it is called Psytrance for a reason, and weed also helps with that. So all of those influences kind of stack up on top of each other, like psychedelic rock or something like that. There's also influences from that. There's obviously, when it comes to writing music, you take a lot of influences from a lot of different places, and within the pool of musicians making Psytrance, anything from psychedelic rock to, I mean, even much further beyond that, realistically, there's going to be people pulling influences from different things, but the main influence that started it all was the spirituality that was happening already in Goa when the people that eventually made Psytrance kind of got to that place. So it just is a combination of all of the different things that those people were in contact with, and that just grew and continues to grow up until this day. And even now it's continuing to evolve, and there's new developments, there's new ideas being made, there's new ways of creating Psytrance. Some people don't always like all of the new ideas coming out, but to be honest, I'm a fan of everything that I hear in Psytrance. I just think that it's music to dance to, and all of the different subgenres of Psytrance allow you to do that. So that's what matters for me. And yeah, I'm happy with the way that the sounds are sounding and the way that the tracks are being written and stuff like that. Yeah, to answer your question, why is there a lot of spirituality? It's because the people that initially started it had a lot of influences from spirituality because of where they started the genre, and that just continues to evolve into even more spiritual stuff. That never really goes away because it's kind of ingrained into the culture from the very beginning.
How I write my intros.
I find it very difficult writing intros. Any tips? Yes, you want to just start off with the most interesting bit of the intro. I wanted to, as I said before, I wanted to start off with the atmospheres initially, when I first thought like, okay, I should write the intro. But it's pretty hard writing around the atmospheres if that's the only thing that you have. Now we have this cool starting sound here. Right, something like that, and I can start to write my next element around that. So now we could take, for example, this atmosphere over here and just place that in there, and we can start to write something cool around that. Maybe we'll have this continue out throughout the whole thing. So this goes up until here. And then we'll have this maybe come in a little bit. Like this. The important part now is how does it come out of the initial element and how does it go into the next bit here, right? And then once we have that established, we can put all of the stuff in between there. I like that. So now that we have this, the next thing that you do is you just fill in the stuff in between. We have something cool going into this over here. We have something cool at the start of the track, and then it's just filling up the rest with cool stuff as well. There's not really much special stuff to it, in the sense that it's not different from writing the rest of the track, right? In the sense that you just find cool sounds and work them into the specific part. The way that we've done it now is that we already have the rest of the track and that I have to write the intro for the rest of the track. Usually I don't really do that. I tend to write the intro pretty early on in my productions. Many people say that this way of working, where you already have the main idea of your track, is a little bit better for them because they can tweak the sounds of the intro to what the rest of the track is sounding like. In my case, I would just work the other way around, in that I write the rest of the track around what the intro sounds like. But in this case, I decided at the end, or like in this part of the production, to move the rest of the track backwards. So I need more space to actually fill it up and to actually have the intro in here. So that's what we're doing now. And I think what I want to do is slowly bring in these chords already. I want to do that without any of the automations interfering. Yeah, because these are now very high here. Someone said that it's best to make the first 2 seconds stand out so it's instantly memorable from the start. To be honest, it doesn't really matter that much because most of your tracks are going to be played in a set from this point over here up until like the outro. So this is where the DJ will mix it in, and this is where the DJ, whenever there's the actual track, wherever the outro ends up being, that's where he will mix it out, most likely. Maybe from a streaming perspective, that would make sense if you want your track to do well on streaming, but the more important part is actually just making your whole track memorable. So wherever the DJ plays it, people can memorize that part of the track. For the intro, of course, if you wanted to if you do want it to perform well on streaming, then that would be a great way to do it. But it's for Psytrance, it's not really necessary to have it that way.
Alright, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know if you did by leaving a like, and if you're new here, make sure that you're subscribed. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.